Hi Jeannette, welcome today to dkdox. Thank you for coming and speaking with us.
Thank you so much for this invitation.
You're so welcome. You started a few years ago with a performance piece entitled Whip It Good. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Whip It Good consists of a large white canvas and me body painted in white and with some white costume. And I have a black whip that I rub into charcoal, then I whip the canvas. And it leaves, of course, black marks on the white canvas. And then after a little while, I will encourage the audience to finish the painting. So I hand out the whip to whoever wants to whip, and it goes on from there until nobody will take it. So, yeah.
And what was the response while you were doing that? What did you discover in that process?
I've been doing it many places since Berlin, and it's always different. In Berlin, it was around people who was in this event, Bebop, and I discovered at that point that it was so different who held the whip. If it was, apart from myself, of course, but also if it was a woman or a man, black or white. History really dictated how you would interpret that. So that was one of my greatest experiences. And also people who did not really, engage actively, they were very engaged anyway. It was very powerful to them, but they just couldn't. They just didn't want to go and take the whip. And that I've experienced that many times, that people, they can't really do it.
Why do you think that is?
I think maybe it's because it's too brutal. And some people, they've never held a whip before. And when they start whipping, they kind of get shocked. And it's a relief for some, and for others it's really problematic, but it's a very powerful act, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was your inner journey with this performance?
Normally when I work, I like to make my expression very simple and to raise complex questions and situations. So I wanted to do something simple, and then I watched Django Unchained, actually, and I saw that the scene where Django is hanging with his head upside down, and he has whip marks on his back. And I don't know why, but it just came to me. Maybe I should have a canvas, do it on a canvas or something like that. And then I just continued working on it. And then I was talking to my boyfriend, and he said, "Why don't you try to engage the audience?" And I thought it was a brilliant idea, and it's also very empowering for me to do it. And for some of the audience, I think actually for everybody. It's an empowering piece because it's a piece that will bring conscious in play, I guess.
What's your personal connection to this action of whipping?
Well, I'm a descendant of enslaved Africans, so I don't have a personal experience with it, but I have a personal experience with racism and with what came along with colonization and all these things. And so that's my experience with. Right. But I'm not a whipper.
Right. No, I meant a personal historical.
Yeah. Actually, I did whip once before when I was young at another show. But anyway, okay. We don't want to talk about that.
I read something the other day about historical trauma. This idea that a group of people who have experienced great atrocities against them collectively experience a collective trauma. Is that something that you see happening within the African diaspora?
Yeah, I see that a lot. And that's also things that I want to reveal and talk about, because it's very important to deal with these issues. And one of the things that I've been working with is the hair. which is one of the traumas that can be traced directly back to colonization, the wanting to straighten your hair, and of course also the whiteness, and wanting to bleach your skin. And I think it's I don't want to say amazing, because it's not amazing, but it's really so heartbreaking to experience these things. Also because when you realize what it comes from, it's devastating. And many times you don't even realize, and it's just a thing, you know, it's just like a phenomenon. But when you dig into it, it's, oh my God, it's really powerful. So,
do you remember that moment for you when you that discovery of being black? Is there a particular moment that you can recall, a photographic memory? Or?
I remember my, I think I must have been around 5 years old or something, walking with my mother. She's white. Where we were walking around a playground or something, and then I remember this other girl pointing at me and asking my mother if I'm a mulatto, and I didn't know what a mulatto was, but apparently that was what I was. So I asked my mother what it was, and she explained, and so that was one of the first times. But I also recall coming back to some of my family and asking. Because another aunt in my family, she's not black or anything, but she has very dark skin. So I would ask her if she also was bullied or something like that. So apparently I've been thinking much about it when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Your show today is Heritage is Commoning. Can you speak a little bit about that?
That's the overall theme for this exhibition. My exhibition title is Because the Spirit's a Conversation. But Heritage is Commoning is part of the Golden Days festival of Important Shit, which is about cultural heritage. So the people here at Astrid Noak's atelier, they invited different Danish artists to create an exhibition each around cultural heritage, because heritage is, it's commoning. It's it brings people together, or I don't know. Maybe it can also be conflicting, or I don't know. It's you know, it's it's a complex thing. My piece here is inspired by Hans Christian Andersen.
Don't get more Danish than that.
No, exactly. He's really part of our cultural heritage, and I took his play that is very unknown, called The Mulatto, which deals with a lot of racial problems and themes. And I wanted to reveal this. I didn't know about this piece, this play. It's from 1840, and apparently he did a lot of plays also that are not very known, but this one was really, really, I mean, crucial for my practice. So I took this piece and I worked with it, and I coupled it with other pieces that deals with the same kind of themes, like racial problems and uprising and revolt, and
In your exhibition, you have a scroll-like piece of paper where there's an interview between Kendrick Lamar and Tupac Shakur. What's the significance of including that in your show?
I was very inspired by Kendrick Lamar's latest album, and at the end of this album he has this sampled interview with Tupac Shakur, material from the 90s that he used today. And they're talking about the same things that are in Hans Christian Andersen's play. So I just felt that it just clicked.
Thank you for joining us today at dkdox, Jeannette Ehlers.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.